Okay, today I'm going to try and explain wave motion, which is double helix. It's a little difficult. I guess I've got to explain. God sent me all these visions, but now the Spirit is leading me into all things. So all the visions that I had were to do with double helix energy flow and how everything links together in the whole universe. All this kind of stuff that I'm doing now, sometimes a lesson gets, boom, comes out fully formed, and I don't even have to think about it. But something like this is actually quite complicated, and I can't go any further with this explanation to prove it without actually having a computer simulation of it, because I'm about to explain what this water droplet is going to do, and what the energy is doing is actually the opposite of the water rotation, because a double helix energy wave has two sides. If I draw one line across a page, it has two sides, the top and the bottom. This is the same as an energy wave. An energy moving one way moves matter in the opposite direction, and this comes down to the physics of, for every action there is a reaction. The action of energy has a reaction to matter, which is always in the opposite direction. So with the water droplet, the matter is going down and it is pushed out from the top. It rolls over underneath and then goes up through the middle and then starts to atom cloak, which is in my atom cloaking video, which is two waves spinning around each other. You can see them either side there, and then they spin around left to right and right to left. There's your double helix twist in the center because it's rotating through it, which is why all asteroids end up looking like a duck shape with the middle carved out, because there's double helix energy running through it. Now I'm going to show you with liquid milk so you can see the waves. So it seems to be moving out, but the energy of the matter is now coming back into the middle, and then it splooshes up in the center because the matter is going towards the center of that spike, but the actual energy is rotating in the opposite direction. Now I know this is a little difficult to understand because it's killing me without a computer on something, because this is quite complicated. I'm going to bring up a paper in a second, but energy downwards causes an opposite rotation to what you just saw. Okay, so this is the paper. I'm going to go through it pretty slowly because you've got to get your head around this. This is where you really have to think. People talk about thinking. They don't do any thinking. They look at a headline and say, oh yeah, that's been found, blah blah blah, and they think that constitutes thinking. Thinking is where you actually use your imagination and construct something in your head. That is what intelligent thinking is all about, because no stupid person ever invented anything. Somebody with imagination invented something, and that has nothing to do with intelligence as we rate it. So here we go. Okay, so first of all, let's do it as if there was some kind of tsunami going on, but it is anything that causes a wave, because you have to drop energy into, say, water, as I just showed on those videos, to actually create the wave. So what you're looking at is the object. Now as it comes crashing down, it actually makes the water rotate backwards. It also makes a lump of water jump forward and fold over. So what it actually looks like, the water, when it first does that, because that object would sink straight through, it is going to rotate the water, because matter rotates matter, whether it's energy or whatever, it doesn't even matter. Matter dropped through matter will cause opposite rotations. In liquid, it will also cause a wave fold. So that's the first thing you need to look at. That is what is happening when you drop something into water. It causes a negative rotation by the actual direction of travel, but because it's forced water in another direction, upwards and over, you also have another rotation, which is now double helix. You have two rotations in one. Okay, so at the top left there we have an interlinking wave. That is a wave fold over. The water, as the wave is rolling, goes from right to left, but the actual motion of the wave roll is rolling forward. So it's rolling through, but the water goes backwards. Action and reaction. Underneath that we have the double helix wave. If you notice, it's the same as the Mars scar. And why is that? Because energy always travels in a double helix. The Mars scar was some kind of energy blast, whether it was passing another planet or just a build-up in the atmosphere, the same thing that's kind of going on with us now. The Mars scar is made by energy. That is why a wave is exactly the same shape. So we've got a split side view there. Excuse the whiteout, I joined that up by accident because I'd gone ahead. And then we have an end view which spirals to nothing. We have the full wave from above, the direction of travel, and as you can see, the wave gets thinner because a wave has to have ends. So the split side view is the double helix, and the end view is basically looks like that, which is, you know, kind of any flower tip that's twisted up. Okay, both together, as you can see, I have fitted the double helix inside the wave because that is where it is. Now I've got a little point there saying it doesn't matter what wave it is, whether it's a high crested wave or just a little low wave. The both together one is like a wave that's just moving through the water, so you wouldn't even see a crest. But if you have the crest, if you have a look on equals and then you see that little sign there, it comes over and round into the circle and back out. So the actual double helix is in the tip. All the energy is in the boundary, so it's in the outside. Okay, so now we're looking at the yellow rotation of wave. So as I said earlier, with a piece of a pencil line, it has a top and a bottom. So does all energy. There's a wave going one direction coming towards us, which is, say, let's say the arrows that are going over and back, and then there is a wave going away from us, which is, if you have a look at the bottom piece, is traveling in the other direction. The upper part of the lower E part of the yellow shows arrows going up and into the wave, and then back out on the top following it, but then it loops underneath and goes back through the double helix and comes back around towards the incoming wave. This is because of the rock that was dropped caused a backwards rotation, but also pushed the water forward to make a fold over wave, and that is how you get that shape. Now the actual shape of this, if you just look to the left there, it says kidney shape, because that's the shape of the energy. So the rotation wave in yellow, that's a simplification to show you the double helix and the direction of travel. But the kidney shape, so the back line that follows downwards on the yellow shape, is actually further to the left, so that it actually looks like a crazy kidney shape because it's got two sides to the wave. So if you just look above that high wave, still DH rotation, you will see it's also the Fibonacci sequence. There's a Fibonacci spiral in there as well. So I've got a couple of arrows and then the double helix sign there, and then equals, and it looks like a great big E, and then it equals, which is the Fibonacci spiral, because the Fibonacci spiral sequence is energy travel. That is how it gets larger or smaller. So there we go. That's the rotation of waves. The energy is rolling clockwise to the left, but the actual energy is rotating backwards because that was the energy it was given. There is action and reaction. The wave is rolling clockwise, but the actual motion of the water is going backwards. And that's about it, really. That's how waves work. So I'm just going to put up a couple of underwater waves here, and you will just see the water follow the crest of the wave up through, and you will see the water moving in the opposite direction. There's a slight movement forward of the water, but water doesn't really move when energy goes through it, because water is a perfect conductor for energy, which is why you're made of water, because you're electricity and electromagnetism. So there we go. That's about it. Water waves explained using double helix energy, because that is how all energy travels, and matter conforms to energy, and basically energy rolling one direction will cause matter to roll in the opposite direction, because that's pure physics. For every action there is a reaction. Thanks very much. My name is Lee and I'm a Christian.